So welcome to my channel, The Divine Faith, and on this particular video, we are going to be taking a look at the relationship, or I should say the composite chart between Erica Mena and Safaree Samuels. Now, they have been trending quite a bit over the last couple of days because they both have been on Love and Hip Hop. If you're not familiar with the show, I will give you guys a little bit of a background in just a second in terms of who these two are and how they came together. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the two of them may have met or came together. Didn't they? There was like some sort of competition show, I think, if I remember correctly, on VH1. I can't remember the name of it, but this had to be a couple of years ago, or I don't know, I don't know how long ago this show was, but I vaguely remember watching it at one point. I just can't remember the name. So I believe that may have been initially kind of how their whole relationship kicked off because of that particular show that they were on together. I do believe in the competition, but either way, they both have been on Love and Hip Hop, like I said, and they both have dated other famous people in their past. Safaree dated Nicki Minaj for a little over a decade. Erica Mena was engaged to Bow Wow for, a snap of a finger. And then I believe she has a child by somebody maybe in a rap group. I can't remember who her child's father is, but either way, okay? So, of course, if I am cutting in and out, guys, on the stream, just wave your hand and then I'll just stop talking until it corrects itself. We'll just possibly have to do it that way. Okay. So I don't think we're going to have birth times for these two, which is to be expected. Sometimes I can kind of gauge possibly what their birth time may be just based off of mannerisms, based off of how they interact with the public and etc. But Erica Mena is a tough one to crack, I believe, when it comes to gathering her birth time. That was a little bit difficult, so I didn't even try to figure out the birth time for her. And I know we're not going to have the birth time for Safaree unless he mentioned it somewhere. I don't believe so, but yeah. So I'm going to make this smaller. I did pull up Erica's chart in a different system. Okay, I pulled up her chart on Astro Theme, or I believe this is pretty much like astro.com. So she is a Scorpio. She had a birthday about a couple weeks ago. She's born on the 8th day of the month, okay, which you guys know my theory when it pertains to that. And I did not know she's also a life path number 8. So already she has double Saturnian energy, because the number 8 is tied to the planet of Saturn, our karma, also, our time. Saturn definitely helps you whenever you're patient. That's the biggest thing when it comes to heavy Saturn energy. You have to be patient. That you also have to appreciate, respect time. Okay, you also have to appreciate the fact that you're gonna get older. There's no way to reverse time. Saturn appreciates that thought process, because to Saturn it's okay, you're learning that there's certain things in life that you just have no control over, but you still have to be appreciative of that matter. So I just found out literally 5 seconds ago that she's life path number 8, with her also being born on the 8th day. So her Saturnian energy is heavy. I mean, some people may say, some people may say, she's getting her karma or whatever it is. I don't know, maybe they're getting that maybe from the possibility that, she's double Saturn in a manner. So like I said, Saturn is karma. Saturn is that disciplinarian. You don't act right, unfortunately I have to punish you because you just don't want to learn. So it's just one of those particular things. I mean, you heavy Capricorn people or Aquarius people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. More so heavy Capricorn than possibly Aquarius. But either way, so I'm just trying to pull up their charts. I'm going to look and see if I can pull up. I don't think like I said, I'm not confident that I'm going to get Safaree's birth time. I'm not confident in that because, I just don't think it's going to happen. But I know he is a Cancer. And he is born on Independence Day. So he is born on the 4th. So we have, hold on, let me let the car go by. So we have already, if we're just looking at days that they were born, we have the sun and we have Saturn. I talked about it before. Sun and Saturn are just not going to mesh in the way that they think, because again, there's that disciplinarian type of energy that Saturn can bring, like that ruling with an iron fist. You got to like trying to maybe even possibly be your mother or be your father type of thing. And then we have the sun, which can be very, sun like. The sun is like, a bright star. Okay. The sun is very hot, but it can also be an energy of someone very ego filled, someone that may possibly act like a child, someone that just does things for their entertainment, not necessarily yours. Maybe there could be maybe there could be some cruelty in a way with this number 4 energy when it comes to Safaree being tied to the sun. There may be some cruelty there in a manner because of the fact that you're doing things for your enjoyment, your entertainment. And even if you possibly see that it's not funny to the other person, something within you is kind of just like, well, it was funny to me, so I don't understand why it's not funny to you. So there's that childish type of energy, like I said, but we will go a little bit over the highlights when it pertains to the days that they were born. Because like I said, we have number 4, we have number 8. We already know what it is, like I said, when it pertains to the sun. But I've been watching the Netflix series that Morgan Freeman is narrating. I believe it's called Our Universe. And I fell asleep on the episode where he was deep diving into the planets, and I was just so fascinated. Okay. But I did not know that that Saturn, I think it takes 11 hours, I think, for it to rotate, for it to be a full day. Like how our full day is 24 hours. But on Saturn, it's 11 hours. So, and there was some other stuff that I learned. So it was just so cool. And I was like, oh, I need to go back and watch it, because some of that stuff that he talked about, I can absolutely apply it in these readings. Okay. I just have to go back and take some notes, but I just found it so fascinating. Okay. But either way, let me see if I can find his birth chart. Okay. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I got it. Let me see. Yeah, I got it. July the 4th, and he's a life path number 3. So his life path energy to number 3 is tied to Jupiter. So we have Jupiter, we have Saturn. I don't know if Jupiter and Saturn are friends. I wouldn't guess that they are, since Jupiter likes to expand pretty much wherever it goes, whatever it touches. And Saturn can really be that pooper. I hate to say it. He can really be that party pooper, especially if he has, if he's tied to someone that possibly is like very sun-like, or possibly very, we're going to see Jupiter-like. Okay. They may find Saturn as like the buzzkill. It doesn't necessarily mean that he absolutely is a buzzkill, but they may see them in that way. Like, oh, you just can't have any fun. So that may have been how Safaree had possibly saw Erica Mena in a way. Like, you're just a buzzkill. Like, you just won't let me have any fun. You want to be so consumed whenever it pertains to responsibilities, So we all know how that goes. But let's see. I'm trying to find my chart with the friendships of the planets. I should probably say this to my favorites. Okay, so Jupiter and Saturn is an iffy. It can go either way. It can be either good, or it could possibly be, not that great. But either way, so like I said, just based off of, if we're talking about life path numbers, I mean, this could go really bad, it could go really good. But then if we take a deeper look when it pertains to the day they were born, we have some conflict already out the gate with someone. I mean, I hate to say it. I don't know if Safaree was possibly in this particular relationship or in this particular situation just for the entertainment. It possibly just been fun. Maybe that is what he saw Erica as. She was possibly just supposed to be fun. But what if in his eyes, she wasn't really supposed to be his wife, but responsibility took over? So now there's that energy where now you're trying to get the son to be okay with responsibility whenever the son really just wants to play in this particular instance. Okay. So he probably, well, I think, hold on, look at this. He probably would do good maybe with somebody born like on a moon day or born on a Mars day, because they kind of can like amp that sun up to be like, hey, oh no, it's okay. You know, they kind of give him that room in a manner to kind of just like do whatever, even if it's wrong. Okay. And for Erica, she probably would do better when it pertains to somebody who's born on a Venus day, or someone who was born on a Mercury day. So Venus is number 6. Mercury is what is Mercury? What number is Mercury? I forgot. Venus is 6. Mercury is 5. Lord. So she could be with somebody who's born on a 5th day or a 6th day. That may be better for her as opposed to dealing with somebody born on the sun, because they are going to go at it. And she does need to be with anybody that's born on a moon day, because it's just not going to go well at all. It's going downhill pretty fast. Okay, so anyway, I have both of their charts up. So like I said, if you guys don't know, let me show you a picture. Okay, I don't have my screen share yet, but I'm going to show you a picture in just a second. Let's see. I should probably put their timeline so we can just take a little bit of a look at their timeline. Okay, I'd rather read about it. Okay. Okay, biography gist. I've never heard of this website, but anyway, this is going to give us a timeline. So let me share my screen so you guys can see. I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. All right, people, we've got it. Okay, so here we are. Here is a little bit of a history, a little bit of a timeline that pertains to Safaree and Erica Mena. Okay, some people not know who they are. Here's a picture of them. No, again, I don't know exactly they got together, but you know, we keep pushing. Okay, so as you can see, Erica Mena, a model, Safaree Samuels, a rapper and record producer. They originally met, that's the show. They originally met on VH1 Scared Famous in 2017 before As of Love and Hip Hop New York. I feel like Erica was probably on Love and Hip Hop before. I'm wrong. But anyway, so they began dating in 2018. And they got engaged a month later. Now, a part of the story here, I think that's not, shown, is I believe that Erica Mena had just recently got a relationship with Bow Wow because she was engaged to Bow Wow. If you don't know who Bow Wow is, I mean, look it up, okay? But either way, I think she was engaged to him before her and Safaree started dating, and I guess they broke up, and then boom, she's engaged again. Okay, the both of them left Love and Hip Hop New York to go to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. They got married in October of 2019 in New Jersey, in a quiet ceremony attended by just a few friends and family members. Okay, there they are again. This site has a lot of ads. Okay, they have two kids together, girls named Sapphire. She was born in 2020, and a boy named Legend, who was born in 2021. Okay, pandemic energy. Okay, Erica filed for divorce in May 2021, a couple weeks before she gave birth to their son Legend, and that's whenever it all started crumbling down. So that's a little bit of the history whenever it pertains to Erica and Safaree. Okay, yeah, he has his son in Cancer at 12 degrees. He's probably a little bit delusional, if we're going to be honest. He may be one of those people, and I'm talking about this right here, Sun in Cancer, but he may at 12 degrees, as you can see right here, he may be one of those people where he is very, very delusional when it pertains to his playfulness. It seems like it may be one of those things where he just struggles to take things seriously. Okay, especially with that sun on that Neptune degree, based off of the stuff I was talking about. So we may have a definitely very childish person who refuses to accept the fact that he is childish. Even if he says loud, a part of him may still reject that. Like, I don't think I'm childish, but you very much so are. Okay. And then we have Erica. Like I said, she was born on the 8th day, which 8 is tied to Saturn. So let's look and see where her Saturn is at. Her Saturn is in Sagittarius. Okay. For some reason, I want to say lip service whenever it pertains to her, but I would say that probably in a manner of that she needs to watch her mouth when it pertains to what she says. And it looks like her Saturn is on a Venus degree. For some reason, she may even this is just my opinion, just based off me looking at her chart. She may think that what she says out of her mouth is so profound. But if you take a step back and listen to it, you could be like, girl, what are you saying? Or do you listen to what you're saying? It's not making any sense, because Sagittarius can kind of give me that philosopher, like the philosophize, okay, type of energy, maybe even possibly try to be that person who tries to kind of give a very therapist type of response. Okay. But for some reason, like I said, when it pertains to her, and this may be why I say she needs to possibly watch what she says, not necessarily in just a more outrageous, outlandish, profanity or yelling all these obscene stuff whenever you're pissed off, is more so a manner of you think that everything you say is beautiful. You think everything you say is like in a manner of philosophical in a way, and really it may not make a lick of sense. So I would say this for her, she really needs to sit back and think about, she needs to process her thoughts. I don't think she really processes it. And I'm just looking at her Saturn. I haven't looked at her other planets. I don't really think she processes what she says. But yet, like I said, she thinks it's just so profound. And then we have Safaree, who just think he's not childish, even though the energy is there saying you're very childish and you're very delusional about how childish you can be. Okay, so maybe to Erica, remember, she's like the planet of responsibility. So in a way, in this particular relationship, she probably was the responsible one. She may even possibly felt like that she was raising a child, because again, he wants to do stuff for his entertainment. And maybe sometimes his entertainment may be indulging in very Neptunian things, which could be, who knows, drugs, which could possibly be alcohol, which could even possibly be cheating. He may be very delusional whenever it pertains to cheating. He may not think it's cheating. That's the crazy thing. But that's the difficult thing when you're dealing with somebody who has this type of energy. That delusionment tied to the sun. He probably didn't think he was cheating. Even though if we look at it on paper, if she was to tell the story to me or you, it would be like, oh yeah, he definitely cheated, but not to him. Because like I said, there's that fogginess, there's that, delusional type of vibe that he has, where it's just like, I ain't cheat. It's not cheating. It's not cheating. Where it's like, yes, it absolutely is. This is someone where I don't know if he is really going to grow up. And it's almost like, just because you can pay a bill, swipe a card, just because you can write a check, or it doesn't mean that you are grown up. It just means that you just possibly got in a routine of paying a bill. So that's the kind of thing I see when it pertains to him. There may be some struggles of boundaries there. It's kind of like the same energy with Kevin Hart, because I think Kevin Hart is born on July the 4th as well. He gives you that same energy as well, that childishness. However, the only difference here in this energy, it seems like Kevin probably has grown up, maybe, probably because of certain scandals that happened. But yeah, maybe the same thing could possibly happen whenever it pertains to Safaree. Maybe eventually he will grow up. Maybe it's just possibly going to take time. I don't know, but I'm not really confident. But either way, so let's go ahead and combine their charts, shall we? So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second so that I can input this information for the two chart of these two people. So we're just going to have to go off a ballpark here when it pertains to, their composite chart, since we don't really have their birth time. We're just going to have to wing it. Okay. Now I'll put his name first. He was the Jamaica Queens, huh? I think so. Hold on. Where is it? I think I got that. No, he was born in Brooklyn. Okay. And he is, 19. I think he's 81. Yeah, he's 81. And I'll give him 12 o'clock, and then I'll give Erica 12:30, like I said, since we don't really have time. Let me guess. The Bronx. She is November the 8th and 87. Now, I did not know that she was younger than him by that much. I thought they were pretty close in age. But either way. So, let's see. Okay. Now, again, we have to take this chart with a grain of salt because of the fact that we don't have their exact birth time. So let's just pretend that the birth time that I put in is their actual birth time. Just pretend for today. Okay. So I'm sharing a screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at. So there you go. You can see I'm going to make it bigger. Just give me just a second. And I'm going to enlarge it so you guys can see the chart. There we go. So like I said, we're just pretending that the birth time is correct. So they would have Sagittarius ascendant. They would have Virgo on the midhaven or their 10th house. Well, the midhaven isn't always 10th house. Sometimes it's 9th house. Sometimes it's 10th house. It just depends on the chart. Okay. And then we have their 7th house on Gemini. And it actually looks like that their north node is slowly going into the 7th house. Now, just from other articles that I've read when it comes to the north node, I haven't really read many good things when it comes to the north node in the 7th. Some articles have said, and I think these were articles from Vedic astrology, some articles have said that the north node pulling into the 7th house is just not a good placement, especially when it pertains to the woman. Like it will bring shame, despair when it pertains to her family and her possibly as well. Or I think it says it can bring shame to the man's family, based off of the woman that he's marrying. So we can say in a manner that this, you know how some people get married, their families combine, and they're just like, wow, what a beautiful family. Sorry, I don't know if I would say that in this instance. Or I would say, I don't know if that would be the consensus from the public. I don't think the public would be like, oh, wow, what a beautiful family. And then again, even with the North Node going into the 7th, sometimes that can be a energy of someone who may experience with the arts. And we're not talking about, singing, music, dance. We're talking about the arts when it pertains to, who knows, a bruja, or would that be a witch? Or, it could be somebody just experimenting when it comes to possibly like the dark arts, the dark elements when it pertains to like spirituality. It's not always a definite, but is a possibility that someone may find an interest in that for whatever reason they find an interest in. Okay. I mean, I don't want to say it. I don't know if that is in the article. Maybe even sometimes feeling like, whenever she walks in the room, it's just like, it's a heaviness, or it just feels like bad luck is coming, like a storm is a brewing. Okay. That may have possibly been how one of them could have felt about the other person when it pertains to this relationship. Okay. Mars and Leo. So we could see that energy here of those explosive fights for our entertainment, because think about it, Leo is entertainment. Leo is also stadiums. Leo is also sporting events. Leo is also gambling. There may even possibly been some fights about gambling, actual gambling, when it pertains to, the end of, okay, we have to pay the mortgage, or we have to pay the rent, or whatever bill it is that we have to pay in a couple of weeks. Guess what you do? You take the rent money and you go gamble. Or you may possibly go buy jewelry, because Leo is tied to jewelry, gold, and I believe diamonds. I think that's what it is if I remember the book of rulership correctly. But also Leo is tied to was it kings? I think politicians as well. I'm only saying that because there's this heaviness of troll here. And that may have been the basis of why they fought. I'm fighting you possibly to get you to do what I want you to do, number one. Or number two, I'm fighting you to show you that I'm the one that has control in this relationship and you don't overstep me. There is a superiority complex, I would possibly guess or assume, that was in this particular relationship, unhealthy, and the Mars is not making any aspects to anything, so it's almost like it's rogue. Okay, when it's like when the planet is not making any aspects to anything, it's almost just like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? It's like it's kind of like out of control. It needs to be balanced out in some particular type of way. So honestly, maybe even working out or something like that, or shoot, I mean, I know it may seem weird, maybe even possibly going to sporting events may have kind of like eased down this Mars energy with their Mars and Leo. And we have ninth house. So remember, I just said, unfortunately, fights were and because it's also in the ninth house. The ninth house, we already know, is about, travel, long distance travel. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised. Again, I don't know the full gist of their relationship, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lived in two separate places and still found a way to fight heavily. I wouldn't be surprised there because of their Mars being in the ninth house. Now, what's the opposite? What's opposite Leo? Aquarius, right? So I think Mars is, I want to say Mars may be exalted in Capricorn, but let me check. I could be wrong about that. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. It's at fall in Cancer. It's in detriment in Libra and Taurus. Okay. So I'll just check in to see if it's at fall and detriment. No, but like I said, it's a standalone. It's standing alone. But the crazy thing is with like I said, the Mars standing alone, that really may be the only thing we're ever going to remember from their relationship. So again, if I was talking to the two of them, and we sat down, we read their chart, I would make this known immediately out the gate. Like, look, unfortunately, in this situation, it doesn't matter if you guys build a school in, I don't know, in Mexico. It don't matter if you guys build a couple schools in Africa. It doesn't matter because your Mars is sitting up there. And it's almost like that possibly may end up being the thing that people are going to remember you guys' relationship for out of everything. Even if you gave all this money, did all these things, what does it matter? Because unfortunately, like I said, your Mars is in that place of entertainment. Other people's eyeballs are on you in that regard. Even if they try to flip it around and have good press, which I can't say they possibly didn't try to do that because they possibly tried to. It didn't work. Okay. And they have their Saturn in the 12th in Scorpio. I mean, we talked about this in Krishan and Blueface's chart. Remember I said the only way this ends, in a couple ways. Prison, yeah, maybe more so her than him. She's a Scorpio here. Not saying that's a definite. But the way this ends, heavy losses. For some reason, I want to say brain damage, or we could just say maybe some sort of mental health disorder, some sort of mental health something. Very, very heavy here. Okay, what's the opposite of? Okay, I think Saturn's okay in Scorpio. Yeah, because it's exalted in Libra, so it would be at fall in Taurus, and yeah, so I think it's just, it is what it is in Scorpio, but definitely in the house of losses. Okay. I mean, we can even possibly say it could have ended with one of them having an affair, or even having an affair, even possibly trying to team up with the person that they're having an affair with to possibly try to take money from the other person. Okay, couldn't even go as far as saying, like, if it is an affair, the person again that they're having an affair with, they may even move into their marital home. Very toxic. Okay, especially with this being here. Okay, other people's money. So with them also getting a divorce, is not surprising that there's going to be a loss of money from one of them to the other person. Okay, not saying that Jupiter in the eighth means that, you know, it's a T loss. No, not always that, because Jupiter in the eighth, to me, in my opinion, can sometimes be good when it pertains to getting money from other people. But with this here, I mean, and Jupiter is exalted in Cancer as well. So it's not, like I said, it's not terrible, but like I said, it is in the eighth house. A lot of emotional detriment here. Shoot, the moon isn't even making any aspects. It's gone rogue. It's almost like with the moon not making any aspects, it's almost like the moon is void. Nothing was going to come of this relationship. Nothing was going to come of this marriage. It's probably one of those things where these two maybe should have never crossed each other's path in terms of an actual relationship. Nothing was going to come of it. And like I said, nothing was going to be beneficial for them, to be honest. All we were going to ever remember about for them is fights. Very proud, very, you know, argumentative fights. Like I said, it's for our, you know, it would be for our entertainment. So of course we, the people, would see it. And then of course with the ninth house, naturally, normally being tied to Sagittarius, no, we also do have, you know, that TV, that publishing, that advertising type of element there as well. So not surprising that it plays out in some sort of social media platform, some sort of TV show. Okay, they have their combined moon in Cancer, which of course moon is at home in Cancer. So there's nothing wrong with that moon placement, but I'm just telling you, it just seems like detrimental to me, especially to the home. I would say even probably a waste of money. So again, even if I was looking at this chart and they were possibly talking about buying a home, I would probably say no. I would say, you know what, maybe you guys need to rent, because, you know, energetically, I don't think this is going to last long enough for you guys, for the damn paperwork, the mortgage to even dry, for the ink to even dry on the loan. I don't think it's going to last long enough. So it may be more beneficial for you guys to rent. You know, maybe see if you guys make it 3 years and then we buy. And we buy after 3 years. But I don't think buying a home in this instance, my opinion, would be smart. Okay, I don't think so. But we're going to look at some other things. Okay, so we'll start looking at the houses. All right, so hidden feelings for these two. How did they really feel about each other? I guess the cameras are not on, because we say that sometimes some people, you know, dredge up the drama for television because it gives ratings, it brings money. So we can't say that that's not a possibility in this instance. Okay. But with us looking at their 12th house, their 12th is in Scorpio. And look, Scorpio, naturally speaking, Scorpio's ruler is what? Mars. And we already talked about their Mars in Leo in the 9th house. Okay, but so with their 12th house being in Scorpio, we could say that their hidden feelings for each other could be very intense, could be very dark. There's a mystery that was in the air when it pertains to this relationship, hence why that could have been the reason for them moving forward. The mystery. You seem very mysterious. I'm interested in what your world looks like behind the TV. That could have been maybe first thoughts when it pertains to them meeting, even considering dating. Okay, because Scorpio is also, like I've talked about before, it's also the occult. Scorpio is also, you know, the doctor. It is surveillance. So possibly a lot of insecurities here in terms of, well, that probably wouldn't really be hidden, but what could be hidden could be one of them maybe even hiring a private investigator to look into the other person. And this could have been during the time that they were married, because we have that surveillance type of energy. That could have also been where a lot of the fights came from. So we may have somebody trying to move in silence, but you're not really moving in silence because the other person is keeping tabs on you, possibly via surveillance or some sort of private investigator, whoever it could be. I'm not going to say it's her. I'm not necessarily going to say it's him. It could be either one of them. Okay. But I also get this energy from them with this 12th house Scorpio. I'm getting this hatred, and it's so odd why it seems like there's this hatred in terms of a hidden feeling with them. It's so bizarre, like almost in a manner of being with somebody that you despise. Because I do, my opinion, just me looking at this, my opinion would be one of them, I feel like kind of despised the other person. It could have been, well, who knows? I don't know. Of course, it could be jealousy, But let's look at some more things when it comes to Scorpio, because scrolling. Okay, here we go. Scorpio. Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Blood is ruled by Scorpio. Butchers is ruled by Scorpio. Of course, dark brown, like I said, is ruled by Scorpio. But of course, we can't forget that Scorpio can be very sexual. We know what part, okay, the genitals is ruled by Scorpio. So there's that. Is that even possible to try to form a love out of hate? It kind of gives me that. It almost feels like, in a manner, like your enemies, which would be weird. But I don't even know how to properly explain that. It is very odd energy to me. Okay, but let's look at the degree of their 12th house in Scorpio. I wouldn't even, honestly, I wouldn't call this love, to be honest. Like I said, it just kind of gives me hatred. That's why I said these two should have probably never came close to one another in terms of a relationship, because that hidden feelings type of energy says a lot to me, and especially with the ruler of Scorpio in that Leo position. Okay. And I talked about the fights, and it's kind of rogue up there, so that energy also where, if they fight, nobody's going to come and help them, either one of them. Like, they don't even want to be bothered. So that energy here where it just feels like, we're fighting each other with no resolve. Nobody's stepping in to try to help us. None of that is going on. It's like people from the get-go don't even want to be involved. And it maybe, one of them family probably, and I'm just going to say it, is feeling like maybe Safaree's family wasn't really feeling Erica. I don't know how true that would be, but maybe wasn't necessarily feeling her. And hey, but the same thing could possibly be said for her family. Okay. But their 12th house is at 6 degrees Scorpio. The 6th degree is a degree of Virgo. Okay. We know Virgo is about healing. Virgo, I don't know. Well, yeah, Virgo is also writing. It's also health. It's also employers, because it's your 9 to 5, your routine. So it could be maybe one of them, their interest may have actually been for somebody else that they worked with, but they were unavailable or they weren't interested. So it's almost like you settle for what's there. Possibly. Okay. But let's look at the 6th degree of Scorpio and see. I would have definitely advised, like, in terms of any major decision when it pertains to you guys being married, you should probably wait maybe about 3 years. And then at that 3rd year mark, then we come back and we review it and see, okay, are we ready to make this step, to make this purchase, to do any of that? That would have been my advice. Okay. So let's look at Scorpio 6 degrees. Again, like, we're just pretending that the time is right. Okay, Scorpio 6 degrees, occult, multitasker, fortune, pioneer, unusual success. But didn't I say something about possibly jealousy whenever I was talking about that Scorpio in the 12th house? Okay. Yes. I mean, I can't even possibly rule out like a PR relationship for maybe one of them. Not necessarily saying both, but maybe one of them. This could have really just been a PR type of situation. You hate for that to be the case, but this doesn't really give me a chart of warm and fuzzy. This gives me a chart, like I said, of a lot of suppressed emotions, suppressed feelings, a lot of anger, if we're going to be honest about that. Okay. And I don't want it to be a situation where, like I said, one of them starts going to other type of tactics to destroy the other person, but I'm not going to rule it out. Remember, I said their north node right here, as you can see, the north node sign is so close to being in the seventh house. I'm not going to rule that out. Okay. I mean, I'm just not going to rule that out. I mean, is sex magic a thing? I can almost kind of get that vibe here. Or what is it called, people? What is it called? I be seeing people talk about this all the time. I just can't think of what they say. Not the soul ties, not that. What is the word whenever you're like have sex with somebody and you feel like you're spiritually bound to them at that point once you have sex? I don't know if I can call it soul ties. Maybe you call it that. I don't know. But it kind of gives me something like that. Okay. But even in this composite chart, I would say here that, well, you're probably gonna hate me for it. I don't think she's a good wife, and I don't really think that he's a good husband. But this may just be isolated incident for the both of them. But I just don't really think that the two of these individuals are good spouses. In that regard. Okay. Like I said, a lot of tension, I would say, especially when it also pertains to career. And that's probably where the hatred comes from, because somebody had to put their career on hold for the home. Right here. The Venus is making a square to Jupiter, thinking that, okay, this is going to, expand my career, but it actually does the opposite, because now you can't really do much of anything besides be home. Okay. And hopefully you don't, hopefully you don't go to addictive type of behaviors like plastic surgery or alcohol. Okay. Because of the fact that you feel confined to the home. Which, unfortunately, I could almost see that if it did happen, because remember I talked about it before. I said mental health issues creeping up from this particular relationship. They may not necessarily been there before, but if they were, it was like they're going to expand. They're going to get worse. Now, I would definitely say that ego needed to be healed in terms of their communication. They don't know how to talk to one another. And this is right here with their Chiron in Gemini squaring the sun, especially when it pertains to in public. They don't know how to talk to one another. It's almost just like you talk to each other like you're scum. You talk to each other like you're dirt underneath their fingernails or dirt at the bottom of their shoe. You see how that just gives you hatred? It's like, why even want to be bothered with that? But, they probably had, but if we're going to be honest, again, their Mars, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm going to be honest. I don't know. They may say, I'm incorrect on this, but I don't think the sex was that good. I think it was more so of like maybe the sexual tension, the sexual chemistry. But when it comes down to getting down with the get down, it just seems like they had to do so many things for it to be enjoyable. And of course, nobody's saying that you shouldn't, experiment or anything like that. But this just feels like you're having to do way too much stuff to have any type of satisfaction when it pertains to the bedroom. So I wouldn't necessarily count that sex was as exciting as they were trying to make it out to be. Not necessarily saying, it just seems like, it's just way too many things, in my opinion. Okay. So who knows? If that's the case. Maybe somebody is oversexed. Or remember I said when it came to Safaree's son being on the 12th degree, he may be delusional about possibly being a cheater. What if there possibly was like an agreement of some sort when it pertains to these two, when it comes to sexually experimenting or just something dealing with sex? So that could possibly be where I said his thought process is, well, I'm not really cheating. But even if that agreement ends, for some reason, he thinks the agreement should keep going, even if she may turn around and be like, okay, I'm not hip to this anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. We can see that as possibly a possibility here. But like I said, it's like not even being nice to one another. Very nitpicky. The both of them could have been very nitpicky towards each other. I can kind of see this energy here, matching outfits, but maybe the matching outfits was maybe some sort of psychological play to make us think that everything was okay, but really not. It's like, okay, your outfits are nice, but I'm just not buying it, to be honest. All right, so let's look at their Mars in 20 degrees Leo. Because that's their 12th house lord. Remember their house of, okay, Scorpio's ruler is Mars. So we're going to see what the 20th degree of Leo is. 20 degrees of Leo, commanding, introspection, knowledgeable, diplomacy, penetrating. Yeah. Remember I talked about before, those fights to me, it seems like a fight for dominance. It's almost like two animals in the jungle, in the lion kingdom. You're trying to exert dominance over one another because you want to be the last lion, whatever, standing. Like I said, just not healthy at all. Okay. Just not. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they'd even fought in the airport, but we possibly didn't see it. Or I wouldn't even be surprised if they like missed their flight to somewhere important. Couldn't even possibly been for work or something like that because they're fighting. Okay. So what else can we look here? How are you? Well, let's look at their 8th house. So their bond. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8th house in Cancer. Okay. And their 8th house lord is in the 8th house. So we're actually going to take a look at this. Their moon is at home. It's in Cancer. And like I said before, their Jupiter is exalted. Those are good things. All right. So let me see. I'm trying to go find my thing. Where is it? Here it is. Let's look at the composite moon in the 8th. I don't think it can. Yeah. Composite moon. Gotta find it. Oh, there it is. Alrighty, Friday. So with the composite moon in the 8th, this can make the emotions of the relationship run much deeper. You may feel like you each bring out the deepest, we talked about that, deepest, darkest emotions and issues you have. It can cause the relationship to feel unsettling and cause more emotional extremes. However, there is great potential for the relationship to help each of you grow and to transform, but you have to deal with the stuff the relationship dredges up for you. This can be a very serious relationship, no matter how casual you want it to be. With the 8th house ruling shared resources and other people's money, this can be an easier position for this can be an easier position for a professional relationship. And just based off of what I've talked about, I already said before a couple of signs ago that I don't really think that they should have came anywhere near one another when it comes to a personal relationship. Now, of course, they're co-workers, which, if we're going to be honest, maybe this could have been one of those mysterious type of things on a TV show where you're like, oh, I wonder if they end up together, but they're just sleeping with each other just for the TV show. And then that's it. Or you're just flirting with each other for a TV show. I know that sounds bad, but I feel like that would have been way better than actually trying to have a real relationship outside of your professional relationship. That was mistake number one. Okay, that would have been mistake number one for me. But let's look at, where is it going? Where'd it go? Okay, keep going. Composite moon to Jupiter. Let's see what that one's about. Okay, so with composite moon, as we can see here, moon in Cancer and Jupiter's pretty close. So we may take this as a conjunction. With composite moon conjunct composite Jupiter, you can enjoy being with one another and genuinely like each other. You can feel better emotionally with one another. And by being in this relationship partnership, you can feel happier and more joyful. I'm going to give some pushback on that just based off of what I talked about before. The potential is there for that to be the case, but I don't think, like I said, I don't think it should have ventured outside of professional. And maybe that is really what was like the fogginess here, because they may have had that connection like on set while filming and stuff like that. Then you're just like, oh, this is work. We is definitely going to be able to be moved outside of the professional environment to, you know, actual real relationship. And I would have said no. I mean, I really would have said no. And it's not me being mean or trying to get in the way of anybody's happiness. But it's like you see the train wreck about to happen. But in this particular instance, maybe it just needed to happen for them to like, you know, grow up, I guess. I hope they would grow from this, but you can't really be too sure. Okay. There isn't really much of a destiny here. Okay. Again, I just think these two are enemies in the romantic sphere. And shit, I don't know. Maybe they could even possibly got by with maybe just filming content for like, who knows, like OnlyFans or something like that. And then leave it at that. That's it. That's it. Not trying to make this into a relationship. I just don't think it was going to last. Again, Saturn in the 12, North Node going in the 7. It just screams you're an enemy. We're in. It's like the enemy of enemy. It's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. No, it's not. You guys are just enemies, period. If we're talking about love. And I don't see love here. That's another thing. I just don't see love here. But maybe they both knew that, and maybe they wanted to try. If this was actually a PR relationship, if you know, it came out, it was a PR relationship, I would be like, I absolutely would say, I can see that. Okay. Like, you know, it's for our entertainment. You brought in the ratings in some type of a manner. So there we go. But unfortunately, you guys are still going to lose out at the end, even if it is for our entertainment. So, you know, this is definitely unfortunate, even though they have Libra at home, nothing wrong with that, but they love their career more than they love being a family, being married. And that's what the issue is. You love your career. That is your husband or that's your wife, your career, not necessarily trying to be, you know, a family. Okay. Yeah. Short-lived fame. Look at that. 5 degrees in Libra, a short-lived love romance. That's what this should have been. I mean, no, I think this should have just stuck to TV. Like you fake a relationship for the cameras. Like, look, you know, we're going to come back and we're going to flirt and do some stuff because it'll be good content for the TV show. But outside of that, me and you, we have nothing going on for that regard. If they could agree to something like that, this would have been better for the both of them. Okay? Because no. Short-lived fame, and I'm telling you, I do feel, I think I said it before, that one of them may have used the other person, like said, for PR, for fame. I wouldn't necessarily rule that out. Because they're really seeing like, you know, dollar signs. I get that. Also, I do feel like, my opinion, one of them has had to pay back some sort of amount of money when it pertains to, one of them has had to pay back some sort of money when it possibly pertains to like some sort of contract or broken agreement that the two of them may have had with each other when it pertains to maybe net work or TV or something like that, or this could possibly be coming in the future. Someone may possibly try to backtrack and maybe try to come at them when it comes to a lawsuit, or if they bought a home together. Not saying that one of them can't keep it, but I would probably bet the home got sold because there's some sort of money or some sort of litigation that needs to be paid, and they are going to possibly use the profits, from said home to take care of that. So you have implications here. You have legal consequences maybe in a manner when it pertains to this relationship. Another reason why this should have been a no. This should have just been a matter of, okay, we have a contract with one another when it pertains to what it's going to look like to other people on TV. But outside of that, that's it. We don't need to be venturing outside of nothing when it pertains to this. It's just not healthy. And it's unfortunate that, the kids have to kind of like, see this at some point possibly, or they have to deal with this type of energy. But I'm telling you, I just give stone cold hatred from one of them when it pertains to this. Okay, sorry about that. What? Guys, I'm not doing any questions. Come on, read the room, please. Does it look like I'm doing questions for you right now? No. No, I've already said my piece on that when it pertains to like how I used to do tarot readings, and then we have these ungrateful jigaboos that only want to pop in on my live for a free reading, but you don't want to support anything else. That day is over. That ship has sailed. It's not gonna happen. Now, for the astrology stuff I've been doing, maybe, but when it comes to tarot, it's not going to happen because I don't deal with ungrateful people. So that shit is over with. You can pay for a reading, but that's it. I don't want to hear about it. Anyway, so what else can we look at when it pertains to these two? Within success of their relationship. Well, I already said it's not going to go anywhere, but 1, 2, 3, fourth house. Okay, fourth house Lord would be Jupiter in the 8th. And if we want to look at Neptune, okay, since that's Pisces co-ruler, first house. Okay, first house is the house of self. Maybe even possibly the house of identity. Well, yeah, house of identity, personality crisis, personality issues, identity crisis. And then we have, Jupiter, like I said, in the 8th. Okay, so the 8th house can also sometimes signify the possible end of one's life or one's death. Not always, but with that energy being there, Jupiter and Cancer in the 12th. Jupiter, Cancer, 12 degrees, which is a degree of knowledge, science, changeful temper, doctor, linguist. So they just don't speak the same language regardless. So this was going to come to a halt, like I said before, because they just don't speak the same language. It's too hot, it's too fiery, it's too changeable, especially whenever it pertains to emotions. But I do feel that the underlying emotion here from the both of them just seems just like, I just despise you. I don't like you. I don't even know if staying with someone just because you hate them even makes sense, but for some reason, I don't know. But there is motives here, I would say, in this particular chart, at least for one of them. I think one of them, this was somewhat of like a PR type of situation. They both honestly were quite focused on their careers. So that's number one, why there was going to be issues in the relationship anyway, because they just, work is work. And I really don't think they really were interested in having a family. So maybe this was a very, very unexpected type of pregnancy, but now the baby's here. So you have to be responsible for your children, but you really don't want to be, because you really would rather be doing your career. You really would rather be doing what you were already doing, which is working. Hence why I said, we could have pretty much avoided a broken home here when it pertains to these two, because I don't think they were going to stay married. I'm not seeing it in the chart. I don't think so. This should have just stayed, well, shoot, one night stand, fling, whatever the hell you want to call it. Like I said, a working relationship where you guys pretend to be in a relationship on camera, and then when you go home, you go to your own partners, do something like that. But a real relationship, no, this should have not been a real relationship, in my opinion. Okay, so that is that whenever it pertains to Erica, Mena, and Safaree's just what I see when it pertains to this relationship. And there really isn't much here besides the fact of they should have stayed far away from one another. You know, there's that. So questions. Questions? Any of you guys have questions? If not, it's been real. Okay. And I'll just have to think about what video we're going to do next. I might do another history, or we might do the video on Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown's relationship. Okay, it may take a deep dive into that, but I'll think about it. I know some of you have been dropping your suggestions. Oh, by the way, if you drop a suggestion about somebody who is like no longer here, please make sure that at least a couple years has passed since they have died, okay, before you drop the suggestion. Because me personally, I don't feel super comfortable with reading on a situation when it pertains to like recently passed on. That's just me personally. Elegant Tammy, no, I'm not going to answer your question. I'm not going to answer it. So that's my answer. If you want me to do a reading for you, you can go to my website, but I'm not going to answer your question. Those days are over with, people. Okay. So outside of that, thank you guys for sticking in. All right. Appreciate you guys for watching this one. We'll be back again, or I'll be back again when it pertains to another chart. Yeah, but I'll see you guys later.